On Law Weekly today, we turn our attention to a bill to amend the National Health Act of 2014. The bill, which passed second reading on the floor of the House of Reps 2 weeks ago, seeks to regulate international trips for medical treatment by public officers and to strengthen the health institutions for efficient service. We have the views of a senior lawyer, Chinedu Anaje, on the issue. We also have the highlights of the CJN's directives to judges, which are geared at fighting corruption and ensuring speedy and transparent delivery of justice in the Nigerian judicial system. Plus our weekly recap of some of the top trending stories from the courts. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the program. I am Shola Shuyeli. About 2 weeks ago, members of the House of Representatives deliberated on a bill to amend the National Health Act of 2014. The bill was sponsored by a lawmaker from Edo State, Mr. Sergius Ogun.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very harmless amendment to the National Health Act, because what we are trying to cure here basically is the fact that public servants travel for treatment, and if public servants that prepare the budget, that pass the budget, that appropriate the money, do not see enough to adequately take care of the health institutions, and when they have need to fly out for treatment, they do that at government expense, how are we ever going to fix our health system?
Other lawmakers joined the sponsor to support the bill.
This is a bill that if it doesn't touch you, doesn't touch your parents, your mother, your sister, your brother, you may have touched a friend or somebody that you know. It is a painful thing to see that as civilized and developed as we claim to be in this country, we cannot even provide the basic health care services to save lives of our very loved ones.
This is a country where doctors that are working in public institutions have their own personal clinics. Attention is given to these private clinics more than public institutions. So even when you go to the hospitals, you'll find that doctors will recommend you to go to either their private hospitals or the laboratories they are in conjunction with. They don't take the issue serious. And some of them have no good facilities. So there is need for us also to look inwards to see that, look, some of these people that are in the health sector should also ensure that they take their job serious, more so that the Nigerian Medical Association take their ethics very seriously.
If you go outside of this country, most of the doctors you go to meet, some of them are Nigerians in UK and elsewhere. But the incentives are not here, and it is only now that the government is even saying that they are going to restrict this medical tourism.
There was also a note of caution on how the bill should be worded.
But let us also remember that it's not only those who are in executive, as he has given an example. There are also parliamentarians who are also being treated outside Nigeria. There are also those from the judicial arm of government who are also being treated outside Nigeria. So let me also remind us, are we going to prohibit? Are we going to regulate? For me, we shouldn't take a decision no here and now. Let's go to the public hearing so that we get the views of all the experts.
Now, against the background of caution expressed by some members of the House on the need to define regulation clearly to avoid misinterpretation, there are those who have asked if the lawmakers can regulate public office holders from spending their personal funds abroad on their own health, and if that would not amount to an infringement of their fundamental human rights to access treatment in foreign countries just because they occupy public offices. I spoke to some lawyers to get their views on the issue.
Every fundamental human right is subject to public morality, public order, and good government. One reason why that law is necessary is that all the public officers who have been going abroad medical treatment, call them together, get the amount, the bill, the amount of money they will spend over there, calculate their salary for 10 years. You know whether they've earned that money legitimately or otherwise. In fact, it's a fraudulent act.
When they say they want to make a law to prevent public officers or public office holders from going abroad. It won't catch somebody like me. It is the elite themselves. So it is like making a law to stop the senator, the governor, the president, the House of Reps members, top public officers from going abroad. So it's a law that will only catch the elite. So why should I, right from the start, without having looked at the content of the law, say, oh, it will infringe on the fundamental right of anybody?
No law can restrict somebody from traveling abroad, simply that. But traveling abroad for treatment based on public funding, that's my view. No. So I support that law. But for somebody to use his money, you are traveling abroad, you want to spend your personal money, you are free to do so.
The making of the law is not the problem, but what is our attitude to change? Because the law is challenging the equilibrium or trying to challenge the equilibrium. What do you want to do something different? But again, if you take it further, is it not infringing on the fundamental right on people to choose the hospital, the country, and the time they are to be treated? Now, the law could be made. Instead of making that law, I would have rather suggested they make a law that the hospitals in the country are equipped with the state-of-the-art or the modern equipment to make it functional, optimally, if not maximally. If this is done, there will be no need for such law.